What's up, everybody? Z3KO Trinity here. Today I'm bringing you guys a book review on Stephen King's The Outsider. Now, I haven't read a Stephen King book in a long time, and that's a shame on me. And yes, it did take me much longer to read this book than what I planned. I had started this book on May 23rd, and I'm finishing it today, July 2nd. But all that matters is that I finished it, and I absolutely loved it. It does have some moments that I thought could have been better, but I'm going to get into that. This is a full spoiler video because I don't. Well, I'll make it part. Like, the beginning part will be spoiler free. The next part, I'll be talking about the spoilers. But if you don't know what The Outsider is, it's about this guy. His name's Terry. He apparently had killed and raped a child, and the police has all the evidence that points straight to him, the DNA, the semen sample, eyewitnesses out the buttload, and they just 100% that it's this guy. So the cops make a public arrest at a baseball game, and well, it turns out he has a really good alibi, that he was out of town during the time that this had happened. And the whole book consists of this big mystery as to how could he be out of town but yet still be in the same town and was accused of killing this child. So that's kind of the gist of the story. It plays through really well. Like, I love the main character. The main character is this cop named Ralph. And in the beginning, he's this, I believe the facts, I am 100%, if it's not real, it's bullshit, I do not believe in supernatural or nothing like that. But I love how his character completely changes in the end of the book. And I'm not going to spoil nothing because it's the beginning part, but I just love the progression. So when you read this book, keep in mind that character's mental, like, the way he thinks and does things in the beginning up until near the end. But yeah, that's the gist of the story. I give this book a 10 out of 10 because it was absolutely fantastic. It kept me interested through the whole book. I didn't feel there was any parts that was boring, except for the very ending. I felt it was pretty dragged out, but I did like the peacefulness that it had ended. But yeah, if you have not read The Outsider, it is really worth reading. It's perfect 10 out of 10. I love the characters. That's Stephen King's main gift, is his characters. He can take a bunch of characters, some random oddball characters, and somehow make them to become like a family. And I just think Stephen King naturally shines through his characters. I think that's his gift that he was given. I hope to one day write a story like Stephen King and be as good. But I like the art of the book. Originally, I did not know what this was, but now reading the book, I do know, and this is where the spoiler part is going to come into play. So if you don't want to watch the rest of this video, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you get this book and give it a chance. It is really worth reading, trust me. I loved every bit of it. I love the characters. The story was not boring. The plot goes really well together with how he summed it up. I mean, it was one of his best works, so please give it a shot. But we're going to go into the spoiler part now. And yeah, I was picking my ear, so what? What of it? I've got an ear infection or something today. But Anyway, I did not know what this was at first, and I didn't even know that this was a bag. But the monster character, this outsider that Stephen King has created, was known as the Mexican monster El Cuco, and which is this man who carries a black bag and he kidnaps children in it. And he's part like human, part monster, and he can shapeshift his face to look like anyone he wants. So I find that very cool how the art of the book is the guy, the black, like the monster with the black bag. I think that that was really, really unique. And it's just kind of him in a field, just dark and gray. And I love how it's like upside down too, so that's so cool. But the way that the story progressed, where like it really didn't fully take off for me until Holly's character was introduced. I mean, yeah, it was like very interesting through the whole thing, but personally, when they introduced Holly's character, brought her into this story, and she did her investigating, which linked the murders from the Peterson boy to the two little girls, that the supposed doctor had done the same thing, and then where she completely figured out that Terry was innocent, and so was the doctor, that this was the work of an outsider. I think that whole part from then on just kind of took off for me. I absolutely love her character. I like, what's the word I'm trying to think? I connect with her a lot. Um, like, she absolutely loves movies, and she uses her knowledge of movies to kind of help her cope with things. Like, she's a nervous person, very, like, has bad anxiety problems, but at the same time she learns to grow herself through the story, just like Ralph did. Ralph, he would not believe in anything supernatural, and he was like 100% that Terry did it. But at the end, I love how he's open-minded now, and that Holly completely like brought him into her world of being open to the universe being so open and never ending. So I just love that message that Stephen King did for that. One of my least favorite characters, which I feel like she didn't really have that much to do with, was the wives in the story, like Terry's wife, and then there's Ralph's wife. Ralph's wife, I did like her character a lot, but Terry's wife, I feel like she really wasn't like that much to the story, besides somebody to feel sorry for, I guess. But it didn't really talk anything about like the daughters near the end or anything like that. I felt like maybe Stephen King could have like did a little bit more with that family, because this thing feeds off of sadness, and I felt like he could have had so much more scares than just the little girl seeing this outsider projection, at her window or whatever. I just felt like maybe he could have done a little bit more with that, but that's just me wanting more. But another really, I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but another really downfall to the story is I felt that the final confrontation between Ralph and Holly versus the outsider, or the Cuco, or the Chimichanga. I'm just kidding. I did like how he wasn't fully changed. Like, he still had red in his hair and still had like a blue eye from where he was Terry, changing into this new guy. Which, by the way, I absolutely love his character. Oh, I know his last name's Bolton. I'm trying to think of the first name now. Shit. What is it? Claude. That's it. Claude and his mom are one of the greatest characters in the whole story. I think I love their characters from like any Stephen King book ever. Like, I love his mom to death. She's just one of those women that I would love to be friends with and kind of know. You know what I mean? Like, reading her, like, her commentary, the way she acts, the way she does things. But you could tell this big, overwhelming love that she has for her son, and that I love that he chose to really change his life around. And I love their characters. I think that they're the greatest. But yeah, the final confrontation I felt could have been a lot more badass. I mean, it was cool that it's set in a cave. So I think that that's really cool. It was like a big cave of death. Kind of like, if you think about it, Stephen King's It was set in a sewer, a dark place where there was a lot of death. And this is a cave that people had died in and, starved in, and it was like collapsed in and stuff. So yeah, I kind of see similarities between those two. But them talking back and forth was kind of interesting. And I thought it was kind of unique when he asked them if they've seen any other like him. I kind of wish that they could have done like a little bit more with that. Like, maybe the more angry he got, like something would change. Like, one of his blue eyes would turn like green or something, and not knowing, and kind of like throw him off the whole transformation completely. I mean, yeah, it does after she hits him with the sock thing, but I still feel like, I don't know, I felt like his emotions could have like been shown through like some kind of transformation when they were pissing him off or something. But when I was reading it and she was like whacking him with something, I must have missed the part, because when he saw that it was a sock, I was picturing just something like this. Like, I was picturing him, like, aimed at this guy, like, motherfucker, I'm gonna pop your ass. And then she's over there, like, beating his ass with just a sock, like, motherfucker, quit raping those children, you. I didn't know the sock had, like, stuff in it. Like, it said, like, it smashed his head in because he has no bones or nothing. So it's, like, caved in. So I was like, how the hell it caves in? But then I realized what, she made the sock into. So, yeah, I get it now. But when I was first reading it, I was like, the hell? But I thought it was kind of interesting how the creature, in a way, was wanting Ralph to shoot it. Because think about it. The creature would still be alive even if he popped him. Oop. Shouldn't have shot my phone. Knew better than that. Did it for the views. But imagine, like, he's sitting there and he shoots him and pops him in the head. Like, it just go right through because it's paper. There's nothing, like say it as he's paper. He's nothing. So it just went through him with ease. The cave would have collapsed, and somehow he probably could have survived. Maybe, maybe not, unless the worm things died real quickly. Which, that was a little disappointing to me. Sorry. But, I don't know, just when she's hitting him over and stuff, I thought it was kind of unique how his body was spasming and constantly changing. But then they said something like he looked like just this dull guy. Just an average person that you see, like, you're just walking the streets and just a guy walks by you, you don't really care to look at him or nothing. That kind of visual is what he truly looks like. Someone easily forgotten. But I thought that was cool. But the whole worms thing, like, I don't know. I felt like it could have been so much more cooler. Like, maybe, for example, the cop guy that was bitten by the snake, Jack. maybe his body could have been like dead in the area where they were having the confrontation. And when she like beat him, the worms could have like crawled into Jack's body, and he could have like reanimated himself and had like a round 2 kind of thing. You know what I mean? I thought maybe they could have added so much more to that, but I did like the touch of the worms and kind of insects, because the metaphor that Ralph knows is, you know, the whole, he had a melon and it was no dents or nothing in it, but inside of it was maggots. So I thought it was kind of poetic of Stephen King to, like, you have this outsider, this perfect being that can transform, but on the inside it's maggots, you know? So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, it's worms, but you get it. But all in all, it was a really good story. I love the characters so much. I loved Yoon. I thought he was hilarious. I didn't really get sad when Howie and Alec died, but I was kind of sad because, you know, here they were at Claude and his mom's house. They were all, you know, just kind of having a good time. They went out for lunch. So I'm just picturing this really nice family, this family to be. You know, I could see these people just constantly, you know, visiting each other, stuff like that. So I was really sad that, you know, those two had to die, but I kind of expected it. I mean, Jack showing up there with a gun. I knew somebody was about to get killed, but really, to me, I would have been way more depressed if it was Holly. Like, if he killed Holly, I probably would have been, like, super depressed. Because I love her. She's my favorite character of the whole story. But all in all, great all the way through. There's nothing more that I can say about this book, because this book is fantastic. Yeah, I would read this book all over again. 10 out of 10. One of the best Stephen King has done. And I hope you guys enjoyed this review of the book. I just had to get it all out in the open, so I hope you were okay with the half non-spoiler, half other spoiler. But no, just I really enjoyed it. I kind of feel sad that the book is over with, because I would like to, you know, learn more about Holly and learn more about the characters and kind of, you know, hang out with them again. But that's what happens. That's what a good book does, you know. It makes you feel things. So, but anyway, thank you guys for watching. I'm Z3KO Trinity, and I will see you guys in the next video. Skadooskas.